You have been waiting for the world to change so that you can finally feel worthy. But you have it backward. The universe is not a judge. It is a mirror. It does not give you what you want. It reflects who you believe you are. The moment you stop treating yourself like a guest in your own life and start treating yourself like the architect, reality doesn't just change. It submits. Look at how you've been living. You've been treating yourself like a beggar at the gates of your own kingdom. You ask for permission to be happy. You wait for a sign to be confident. You treat your time as if it's cheap, your dreams as if they are someday, and your soul as if it's a work in progress. But a masterpiece doesn't ask for permission to exist. When you treat yourself as an afterthought, the world treats you as a ghost. You are screaming at the mirror to change the reflection without realizing that you are the one standing in the light. So, how do you claim it? You must begin to treat yourself with a terrifying level of reverence. Stop trying to be successful and start occupying the space of the person who already is. This isn't about vanity. It is about alignment. When you treat your body like a temple, your energy changes. When you treat your word as law, your conviction becomes a magnetic force. When you treat your presence as a gift, the world stops asking you to prove your value and starts wondering how it can be worthy of you. You must move through your day as if every prayer has already been answered. You don't look for the door. You are the key. The instant you decide that you are no longer a victim of circumstance but the source of it, reality begins to rearrange itself to match your new frequency. People will leave. New ones will arrive. Opportunities will manifest not because you worked harder, but because you finally became the person who could hold them. You are the divine observer. You are the dreamer and the dream. Once you treat yourself with the love of a creator, the creation has no choice but to follow your command. Stop waiting for a miracle. Treat yourself like the miracle you've been waiting for, and watch how fast the world bows down. Reality is yours. It always has been. What if I told you the eyes you use to see the world are the same eyes the world uses to see you? The floor you are standing on is not solid matter. It is a solidified belief. You have never encountered a single person, a single problem, or a single miracle that did not first exist as a shadow within your own soul. You aren't living in a world. You are living in a projection of your own depth. There is a hidden law that governs every breath you take. It is the law of assumption. It states that consciousness is the only reality. Most people spend their lives begging the mirror to change. They try to fix the reflection. They try to manipulate the glass. They try to force the world to be different. But the mirror has no choice. It is a slave to the one who stands before it. Faith is not believing that something will happen. Faith is the courage to assume that it has already occurred. The universe doesn't respond to your need. It responds to your state. Think of your life as a grand cinema. You are the audience, the actor, and the projector. If you don't like the movie, you don't scream at the screen. You change the film in the booth. Spiritually, your internal dialogue is the script. Psychologically, your brain is wired to find evidence for what you already believe is true. If you walk out into the world feeling like a victim, the universe will kindly provide you with enough villains to prove you right. But if you walk out as the beloved child of the divine, even your enemies will inadvertently become your stepping stones. This is your moment of breakthrough. You are no longer the effect. You are the cause. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a single drop. The weight of the world you've been carrying, it was never there. It was just an idea you agreed to carry. You can put it down now. You are free to assume a new identity, a new height, a new light. Reality isn't built of stone. It is built of your consent. Science calls this the observer effect, the discovery that subatomic particles change their behavior simply because they are being watched. You are the observer of your life, and your gaze is what gives your reality its form. Ancient wisdom has known this for eons. The scriptures remind us, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And again, Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. It does not say, believe you will receive it. It says, believe it is already yours. The bridge between where you are and where you want to be is not time, it is a change in your internal assumption. Here is the final key, the secret that turns the lead of life into gold. Do not think about your dream, think from it. If you were already the person you want to be, how would you breathe right now? How would you hold your shoulders? What would your inner voice sound like? Don't wait for the money to feel rich. Don't wait for the love to feel worthy. Occupy the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Feeling is the secret language that reality understands. When you dwell in the feeling of the end, the world has no choice but to bridge the gap. You don't have to figure out the how. The how is the business of the universe. Your only job is the what and the who. The mirror is waiting for you to smile. It is waiting for you to claim your throne. If you are ready to stop being the shadow and start being the light, I want you to claim it. Write in the comments, I no longer wait for reality. I command it. Go forth in peace, knowing that you are the creator of your story. Assume greatness, and greatness will find you. If this message resonated with your soul, stay with us. There is much more to uncover. You are exactly where you need to be. The greatest tragedy of the human soul is not that you are lost, but that you are standing in your own palace begging for a room. You have spent your entire life waiting for a sign from a universe that is actually waiting for a command from you. You are not a guest in this reality. You are the owner who has forgotten where he put the keys. There is a law older than the stars, the law of self-concept. It dictates that the world can never give you what you want. It can only give you what you are. When you live in a state of wanting, you are broadcasting a frequency of lack. You are telling the universe you don't have it, and the universe, like a faithful servant, simply agrees. To ask for permission is to admit you don't have the power. To beg for a miracle is to deny that you are the miracle in motion. Most people spend their lives chasing shadows. They chase the shadow of money, the shadow of love, the shadow of success, not realizing that a shadow cannot move unless the body moves first. When you change your internal identity, the shadow of your outer life has no choice but to follow. You have been treating God or the universe or fate as a distant boss who might give you a promotion if you work hard enough. But the divine is not your boss. It is your very breath. You don't have to earn what you already possess. Stop looking at the horizon for a ship that you are already captaining. You are finally allowed to put down the burden of trying. You were never meant to struggle for air, and you were never meant to struggle for a life of meaning. The moment you stop being a beggar at the gates of your own kingdom, the gates don't just open, they vanish. You are the source. You are the cause. You are the authority you've been looking for. Neuroscience calls this the reticular activating system. When you shift your identity from seeker to owner, your brain literally rewires its filters. It stops seeing obstacles and starts highlighting paths that were always there, but invisible to the beggar mind. This is what the ancient masters meant when they said, "The kingdom of heaven is within you." It isn't a place you go to, it is a state of being you move from. As the scripture says, "For to everyone who has, more will be given." Once you have the feeling of the result must manifest. How do you stop begging? You must practice the assumption of the crown. When a thought of doubt arises, do not fight it. Simply ask yourself, would the version of me who is already successful be thinking this? If the answer is no, drop the thought like a hot coal. Do not ask the world if you can be happy. Inform the world that you are happy. Replace your "I hope" with "I am." Your reality is not built of stone. It is built of your consent. Stop consenting to be small. Here is the final key, the most important part of this entire shift. You must cultivate a sense of holy entitlement. This is not the arrogance of the ego. It is the quiet, unshakable confidence of a child who knows their father owns the bakery. You don't wonder if there will be bread. You know it is yours. When you move through your day with the quiet assumption that your success is as natural as the sun rising, you stop leaking energy to fear. The universe doesn't respond to your need, it responds to your knowing. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled so deeply that the physical world feels like a memory, and the internal world feels like the only truth. The throne has been empty long enough. It is time for you to sit down, master your consciousness. Assume your greatness. Become the creator you were born to be. If you are ready to claim your power, write this in the comments. I am the authority in my world. Let your words be the first command of your new reality. If this spoke to your soul, walk with us. Subscribe to awaken further. You are exactly where you belong. The universe does not see your face. It feels the weight of your self-respect. You have been waiting for the world to crown you, but the world is waiting for you to stop bowing. There is a hidden law that states, gravity follows value. Once you decide you are sacred, the stars themselves begin to revolve around your orbit. You are not searching for a destiny. You are the source of it. There is a law written in the fabric of existence, the law of magnetic resonance. It dictates that reality cannot give you a high-value experience from a low-value state of being. You cannot attract love while you harbor self-loathing. You cannot attract abundance while you treat your time as trash. Assumption is the engine of this law. When you assume the identity of someone who is cherished, chosen, and non-negotiable, you literally bend the local field of reality to accommodate your new stature. Think of yourself as a masterpiece. If you hang a Picasso in a damp basement, it collects dust and is forgotten. If you place it in a cathedral, it commands silence and awe. The painting hasn't changed, the environment has. Most people are living in the basement of their own minds, accepting crumbs, tolerating disrespect, and speaking to themselves with cruelty, and then wondering why life feels gray. Psychology calls this self-verification. We unconsciously seek out people and situations that confirm our inner sense of worth. If you want a different world, you must become a different room for that world to exist in. This is your moment of breakthrough. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission to be magnificent. The moment you stop apologizing for your existence, the world stops asking for your credentials. You are the divine in a human suit. When you move through your day with the quiet poise of a king or a queen, the doors don't just open, the walls fall down. You are no longer a victim of the wind, you are the wind itself. Science now reveals that the heart has an electromagnetic field 5,000 times stronger than the brain. It is a literal broadcasting station. When you shift your internal state from not enough to reverence, you change the frequency of your broadcast. You become a living magnet for high-frequency events. You aren't getting lucky. You are finally tuned into the station where the miracles were always playing. The ancient masters understood this perfectly. The scriptures remind us, do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit? If you are a temple, then every thought you think is an offering. If you offer yourself doubt, you receive decay. If you offer yourself reverence, you receive a kingdom. As it is written, the light of the body is the eye. If your eye, your perception of yourself is single and focused on your divinity, your whole world shall be full of light. To reshape your reality, you must rewrite your unspoken contracts. Stop agreeing to things that drain you. Stop engaging in small talk about your limitations. Transform your inner belief by treating your word as law. When you tell yourself you will rise, rise. When you tell yourself you are worthy, act like it. This builds self-trust, and self-trust is the bedrock of all creation. You are training the universe on how to treat you by showing it how you treat yourself. Here is the final key, the most important part of this technique: radical indifference to the old self. When the world tries to remind you of who you were, the mistakes, the lack, the smallness, look at it with the calm eyes of a stranger. Your silence in the face of old triggers is your greatest power. Do not argue with your past. Simply occupy your present so deeply that the past becomes a ghost with no house to haunt. Don't try to be worthy. Be so still in your knowing that worthiness is the only thing the world can see. Master your consciousness. Assume your greatness. The Creator is not outside of you. The Creator is acting through you. You are the masterpiece, the temple, and the light. If you are ready to claim your non-negotiable value, write this in the comments. I am a sacred vessel, and my value is non-negotiable. Let your words be the first ripple in your new ocean. If this message resonated, stay with us as we journey deeper. Your reality is waiting for your command. Walk in peace. You think you are moving towards your future, but your future is actually moving toward you. Your deepest desire isn't a goal you have to reach. It is a memory of a version of you that already exists in another dimension of time. To wait for it is to push it away. To be it is to collapse the distance instantly. You don't get what you work for. You get what you settle into. There is a spiritual law that the ego cannot understand, the law of the finished state. It declares that creation is finished. Every possibility, every version of your life is already vibrating in the field of infinite potential. Faith is not hoping a bridge will appear. Faith is walking as if the bridge is already under your feet. When you live in a state of wanting, you are broadcasting a frequency of not having. But when you occupy the finished state, reality has no choice but to harden into facts to match your internal conviction. Think of a seed. When you plant it, you don't dig it up every hour to see if it's growing. You live in the certainty of the harvest before a single leaf appears. Most people are spiritual diggers. They pray, they affirm, and then they look at their empty bank account or their lonely room and say, "It isn't working." By doing this, they uproot the seed. Philosophical wisdom tells us that the how is the business of the divine. Your only job is to live so deeply in the feeling of the result that the not having becomes the illusion, and the having becomes your only truth. This is your moment of breakthrough. You are no longer a traveler looking for a home. You are the home. You don't need to chase the sun. You need to realize you are the source of the light. The struggle is over the moment you decide that the reality you seek is already seated within you. You are not waiting for the world to change to feel successful. You are feeling successful and watching the world scramble to catch up with you. Quantum physics touches the edge of this mystery with the concept of superposition. It suggests that all outcomes exist simultaneously as waves of probability. It is only when an observer looks at a particle that it settles into a fixed position. Your life is a sea of infinite waves. When you choose to observe only the finished result, you force the quantum field to collapse into that specific reality. You are literally coding your world with your attention. This is the secret of the ages hidden in plain sight within the scriptures. Mark 11:24 commands, "Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours." Notice the tense. It does not say, "Believe you will receive it." It says, "Believe you have received it." To the divine, tomorrow is a myth. There is only the eternal. Now, when you align your I am with the finished result, you are speaking the language of the Creator. How do you apply this? You must practice the shift from thinking of to thinking from. Do not think of the new job. Think from the desk of that job. Do not think of being loved. Look at the world through the eyes of someone who is already adored. When you walk, walk with the weight of your success already in your pockets. When you speak with the tone of someone whose problems have all been solved. You are not faking it. You are claiming a truth that the physical world hasn't seen yet. Here is the final key, the most powerful part of the technique, the mental Sabbath. Once you have assumed the feeling of the finished state, you must enter a period of rest. This means you stop looking for results. You stop checking the mirror. You stop asking when. If you are still looking for it, you are proving you don't have it. The final act of the Creator is to rest, knowing the work is done. Wear your new identity like a comfortable garment. Be so still in your knowing that the universe feels your certainty and bows to it. The when is none of your business. The now is where your power lives. Master your consciousness. Assume your greatness. Reality is not something you build, it is something you inhabit. If you are ready to live in the end, write this in the comments. It is already done. Let those words be the anchor for your new reality. If your soul found its way home today, join us. Subscribe to continue the awakening. You are exactly where you belong. You have been taught that to conquer the world, you must fight it. But the hidden truth is this: the harder you push against reality, the more reality pushes back. Every wall you hit is not an obstacle in your path. It is a mirror of the friction inside your own soul. You don't need more effort. You need more alignment. The moment you stop wrestling with the shadow, the light finally has room to move. There is a universal law that governs the stars and the seasons, the law of non-resistance. It dictates that whatever you resist, you strengthen. When you struggle to make something happen, you are actually announcing to the universe that it hasn't happened yet. You are vibrating at the frequency of not there. Alignment is the spiritual realization that there is no outside. You aren't fighting a world of stone. You are navigating a world of consciousness. If the frequency of your heart doesn't match the frequency of your goal, no amount of hustle can bridge the gap. Think of a master musician. They don't fight the violin to produce a beautiful note. They align themselves so perfectly with the instrument that the music plays through them. Most of us are trying to play the symphony of our lives by screaming at the strings. Psychological observations show that when we operate in flow, our brains consume less energy yet produce greater results. This is the state of the architect. The architect doesn't pray for the building to appear. They align the blueprints with the laws of physics and let the structure rise. You must stop trying to force your dreams and start allowing them. This is your breakthrough. The struggle was a lie. You were taught that your worth is measured by how much you suffer. But the universe measures you by how much you allow. You can stop the war now. You don't have to break your back to prove you're worthy of a beautiful life. You were born worthy. The moment you drop the heavy armor of trying, you realize the wind has been at your back this entire time. You are not a soldier, you are the sovereign. Step out of the battle and into the flow. In physics, energy always follows the path of least resistance. Whether it's electricity in a wire or water in a stream, the universe is designed for efficiency. Your consciousness works the same way. When you remove the resistance of doubt, fear, and how, your manifestations move toward you with the speed of light. You aren't making things happen. You are simply removing the blockages that were keeping them away. The ancient scriptures have whispered this for millennia. Be still and know that I am God. This isn't a command to be lazy. It's a command to be aligned. It means drop the struggle and recognize the power that moves the tides is the same power moving through you. As it is written, resist not evil. Do not fight the circumstances you don't like. Look away from them. Turn your attention to the finished state, and the struggle dissolves because it no longer has an audience. To shift from struggle to alignment, you must change your internal vocabulary. Replace "I must work for this" with "I am open to this." When you feel tension, stop. Ask yourself, am I trying to force the mirror to change? Or am I changing the person standing in front of it? Your only task is to harmonize your inner world until it feels natural to have what you desire. If it feels like a struggle, it's a sign you're still thinking of the goal instead of living from it. Here is the final key, the most important part of this entire transformation. Surrender to the version of you that has already won. This isn't surrendering to defeat. It is surrendering to your own greatness. Stop trying to figure out the how. The how is the trap of the ego. When you finally stop trying to control every wave in the ocean, you realize you are the ocean. The final step is a quiet, inner yes, a total acceptance that what you want is already a part of you. In that stillness, the struggle dies and your new reality is born instantly. Master your consciousness. Assume your greatness. The world doesn't belong to those who fight the hardest, but to those who align the best. If you are ready to let go of the struggle and step into your flow, write this in the comments. I release the struggle and align with my highest life. Let those words be your new blueprint. If this message brought peace to your soul, like, subscribe to Scovel Spirit Daily, and share your thoughts in the comments. You are the creator. Walk in power.